So now we move on to the next and really the final step before the beginning of World War II, and that's to talk about Poland. We have a very zoomed-in map of Poland, and this even appears to be in, like, I don't even know, Polish or something. So notice what's going on here. We got a big blue Germany. Germany is bisected. This is after the Treaty of Versailles, right? So you got now a Germany, and then this part of Germany is called East Prussia. Do you guys remember something called the Königsberg Bridge problem in math? You guys ever come across that? What do they teach kids these days? Anyway, it's the city of Königsberg up here in East Prussia. So Germany, bisected by what's called the Polish Corridor, this strip of land that's giving Poland access to the Baltic Sea in the north. And then this red area here, that is what's called the Free City of Danzig or Gdańsk. Same thing, German versus Polish. The Free City of Danzig. This was created by the League of Nations. This was created by the League of Nations after World War I. It was a part of the Treaty of Versailles. So Poland is a country on the map. It's ethnically majority Polish. They've taken some German territory, so you've got a lot of ethnic Germans living in here. But after Czechoslovakia is occupied, after Czechoslovakia is overrun by the Nazis, Poland has a right to be absolutely nervous about what's going to come next. After they take Czechoslovakia, and please remember that Britain and France do nothing in reaction to the taking of Czechoslovakia, Adolf Hitler makes a demand on the city of Danzig, or you're going to see it in two ways, and sometimes my Polish students get annoyed with me. So Danzig equals Gdańsk. Same thing, Polish on the right, German there on the left. So Adolf Hitler will make a claim on the city of Danzig. He thinks that should be returned to Germany. He also wants to return a corridor for direct rail links between East Prussia and Germany. Basically, Hitler wants back that Polish corridor. Poland, of course, will refuse. Poland says, let's think about that. No, we're not doing it. In March of 1939, Germany will call upon the country of Lithuania, which is right here. It's green. Little geography note. There are 3 countries between Russia and the Baltic Sea. From north to south, we call them collectively the Baltic states, because they're all on the Baltic Sea. There's 3 of them, and their names go in alphabetical order from north to south. It's very convenient for us. So the northernmost would be Estonia. Then in the middle we have Latvia. And then the southernmost, which is right here, Lithuania. Adolf Hitler will make a claim on a Lithuanian port city called Memel. M-E-M-E-L. Memel. The Lithuanians have no power to resist the Germans, so they just give in. But Poland is a different story. Poland is a different story. Poland does have a military, a strong military, and they're not willing to concede to Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. They're not willing to concede. They're not willing to give in. The Lithuanians do. The Poles aren't. The Poles aren't. So after Adolf Hitler takes over the city of Memel from Lithuania, Britain and France will step up to the plate and they say, Poland, don't you worry. We've got your back. And they will offer a guarantee of security with the nation of Poland. This happens on March 30th, 1939. Britain and France. If Germany threatens an invasion of Poland, if Germany invades Poland, Britain and France will stand behind that nation of Poland. This was on March 30th, 1939. 2 days later, April of 1939, Adolf Hitler will shred that German-Polish non-aggression pact. Remember back in 1934? Neither side agreed or both sides agreed that they would never attack each other. Now that is gone. Germany will end its 1934 non-aggression pact with Poland. In May of 1939, and we can see this ball is rolling very, very fast downhill now. In May of 1939, Italy and Germany will sign that Pact of Steel. We've already talked about this. Where they're both recognizing that Britain and France are not going to allow them to do anything or everything that they want to do. So Germany and Italy will now, in this Pact of Steel, stand together and coordinate their military plans. And they will come to each other's aid if a war were to begin. Fast forward a few more months to August of 1939. And to many, this is the biggest, what? Moment of the lead up to the Second World War. On August 24th, 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union will sign what's called the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. The Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. Does anybody want to be really advanced history student in IB? No? Yes, okay. You could also call this the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Molotov, German Foreign Minister, Ribbentrop, Molotov, Russian Foreign Minister, Ribbentrop, German Foreign Minister. This is their agreement. The Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact is also the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. You guys have heard of something maybe called a Molotov cocktail? It's like a glass bottle filled with any flammable liquid in it. You stuck a rag in it. It's a weapon of revolutionaries because it's very cheap and easy to produce. They're called Molotov cocktails because of this guy. We'll talk about where they get that name. It's after the Soviet Union invades Finland. We'll get there next week. So anyway, in August of 1939, a Nazi-Soviet non-aggression pact. This says, we will be neutral. I won't attack you. You won't attack me. If war breaks out in Europe, we will stay out of each other's business. And we will divide Europe between us. Adolf Hitler will be able to take the eastern portion of Poland. Adolf Hitler will be able to take the eastern portion of, Hitler will take the western portion of Poland. Soviet Union can take the eastern portion of Poland. Soviet Union can also take the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. Soviet Union can make a move against Finland. We'll talk about all this later. Germany can do whatever it wants to do in Western Europe. Why sign this agreement? There are benefits for Germany and there's benefits for the Soviet Union. First, for Adolf Hitler, he avoids a two-front war. If he can knock Poland out of the war, which he can, and he will, he won't have to worry about a war with the Soviet Union. Please recall that in World War I, the way Germany tried to avoid a two-front war was by fighting France and defeating France so quickly, then they could focus on the now invading Russia after France fell. And what happened to that plan called the Schlieffen Plan? What happened to that Schlieffen Plan? Totally failed. It was harder to defeat France than Germany had thought it would be. So now Adolf Hitler is remembering a little bit of German history. And he says, the best way to not fight a two-front war is to not lose a two-front war is to not get into a two-front war. And so he, right off the bat, says, hey, Soviet Union, let's not ever fight each other. Soviet Union's cool with that. They have their own desires. Now, why is this weird that Germany and the Soviet Union would be signing an agreement with each other. Yeah. Hitler hates communists. Communists hate Nazis. These two parties make strange bedfellows, as we say. All right? It's a real phrase. I didn't make it up. They make strange bedfellows. But at the moment, they're using each other. They're each using each other for their own benefit. This will clear the way for Adolf Hitler to invade Poland without fear that the Soviets would react. For Stalin, it keeps the Soviet Union out of a bigger war in Europe. They don't want to fight Germany right now. Remember what happened to Russia when they fought Germany the last time. And this is also important for the Soviets because they've got a Japan that's spreading in the east. And that's kind of a threat. Soviet Union doesn't want to fight a two-front war, right? With enemies on its west and on its east. Soviet Union and Stalin also had hopes that if Germany and Britain and France just beat each other up, that would weaken both of them, and the Soviets would be left strong. So they signed this agreement. On the next day, after the... one note. This Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was a completely public announcement. The Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact was shared with the world. I won't attack you, you won't attack me. But a secret component of that was not publicized, was that each of those countries would get to divide up Poland. Okay? So they're not going to advertise this one to anybody. So the world hears that the Soviets and the Germans have signed an agreement. If you are Poland, you should be shaking in your boots. Because now you've got Germany and the Soviet Union surrounding you. On the next day after the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact is signed, on August 25th, 1935, Poland and Britain will agree to a full military alliance, which means if Poland is attacked, now Britain is obligated to defend. Benito Mussolini, for his part, was not ready for a war. Why would Benito Mussolini not be ready for a big war in 1939? Spanish Civil War, Ethiopian crisis, Mussolini's not where he needs to be at this point. So he tries to organize another meeting. He's the guy that did the Munich Pact. He wants to organize another meeting to talk about Poland, to try to delay the inevitable. Hitler is not willing to wait anymore. On August 31st, 1939, on August 31st, 1939, Germany will claim that a radio station, a wireless radio station, near the Polish border was attacked by Polish troops. And they had Germany claims on August 31st, 1939, that there was an attack on Germans by Polish troops at a radio station along their border. And the Germans even had the bodies to prove it. They shot and killed some of these Polish soldiers. But the Polish soldiers that the Germans shot and killed were actually German prisoners who were dressed in Polish uniforms to create a ruse that there was actually an attack that happened. Sounds a lot like what? The Mukden incident, right? Very good. That began the Manchurian Crisis. So these soldiers, these Polish soldiers, were actually German SS officers, and they used the murdered bodies of criminals, and they left those behind to serve as a cause for war, what we call the casus belli. On the next day, no time for a League of Nations investigation. On the very next day, German troops will invade Poland. September the 1st, 1939, the official beginning of the Second World War, with Germany invading Poland. As German troops march into Poland, the German Air Force that we call the Luftwaffe will begin a disastrous bombing campaign of the capital city of Poland. Within 2 weeks, the Soviet Union will invade Poland, according to the plans that had already been driven up by the Soviets and the Germans. Britain immediately gives Germany an ultimatum. An ultimatum is, you better do this or else. Britain gives Germany an ultimatum to leave Poland, to get out of Poland. Of course, what is Germany going to do to that ultimatum? They're going to ignore it. 1 day passes. 2 days pass. By September 3rd, 1939, Britain and France will be declaring war on Germany. But if you need to have a date in your head for the start of World War II, go with September 1st, 1939.